StampnStorage presents Crafted Spaces. In this exclusive video series, we will take you inside beautiful studios from across the United States. First, you'll get expert advice for improving your craft area and designing your own dream studio. Later in the series, we'll take you on guided tours of the rooms we visited that were definitely crafted spaces.
As crafters, we're all about color, texture, and inspiration. Let's make sure your craft room reflects that. In this episode, we get to tackle the fun stuff, planning the look of the studio. It's all about stylishly personalizing the space in a way that really makes it your own. And it starts with a basic question. What should you conceal and what should you reveal? What goes behind closed doors and what's out in the open?
Doors versus no doors. This is always huge. This is huge. And this is really asking the person themselves how clean they are. How neat are you? Are you going to put things back like it wants to be displayed and shown and be beautiful? Or do you just want to throw it behind a closed door and forget about it? If you want solid doors, then you're going to just put things behind a door and it's going to disappear. So it's really about people. Are they visual? Do they have to see their stuff? Or do they want their stuff to just go away and just be hidden?
The aesthetic choice, or sort of, whether you want something to be displayed behind glass or to be hidden behind doors, is the function of it. Hiding something behind a door or making you have to do a task, open a door, pull open a drawer, is another step. So think about what makes sense to put in drawers and what makes sense to put behind doors. Drawers are awesome for small things. Your scissors, your tape, little things clearly need to be in a drawer. That's ideal. Your bigger items are actually in a craft room. You kind of want them more right at hand. You don't necessarily want to have to open a door every time you want to reach or get to something. So you want to use your doors judiciously, but I think of doors as an archive space. This is where I'm putting something that I'm not going to access all the time.
Like daily touch. What's daily touch?
If I'm going to touch something every day, if I'm going to need it all the time, I don't want it behind a door. If I'm going to need it once a year, Christmas items or those specific things, the holiday stamps and the holiday, colors and those kinds of things, that's awesome behind a door. But daily touch stuff out on a shelf, and it's your job to keep it neat.
One way to help with this decision is to ask yourself, which supplies inspire your creativity? Which pieces are going to help get your creative juices flowing?
In addition to storing all these wonderful things, I wanted to figure out how to put some of this gorgeous stuff on display. I find crafting product in itself, its colorful, vibrant nature, to be particularly inspirational. I don't want it to be overwhelming, but I did want to be able to see it and touch it and access it. You don't have to have everything on display, that's not the point. But you do want things that will make you think of ideas as you are crafting, that will inspire you to do new things, to add to your project in a way that you wouldn't have had you not visually connected with that product by actually seeing it. And a pretty room is an inviting room, so why not put stuff on display and make it pretty? The StampnStorage products, I think, are particularly designed to accommodate that. All of their products are designed in a way that they can be within arm's reach if you wanted that. For me, though I didn't want them on top of my main desktop, they are within arm's reach in my drawers that I use to access when I'm working on a particular project. So find a way to make your stuff accessible, but also to put pretty items on display to further inspire you.
Besides sources of inspiration, maybe some of your valuable supplies aren't used often because they're hard to get to.
And that was really hard in my old space because all my paper was in a filing cabinet, and that's 3 drawers I have to open and go through all the filing and just to see what shade I want. And all my stamps were stored on the floor, and I had to kind of step over and try to see what I had, and it just was so hard to craft. before, and now it's so easy and it's really exciting. I love being down here.
You can make the most use of your space by using organizational tools like open shelves. I like to put my papers on open shelves so it's easily accessible. Your pens, ribbons that Mary uses every day. When you make them accessible, you're more likely to use them more, and it makes it more fun to work on your project. Doing lots of drawers is important. You can even get plastic stack drawers where you can put your papers and your tools. It doesn't have to be quite as fancy as what she has here, but it's really important to have everything in its place so that it's easy to work on your projects.
Now we get to the part that so many of us are very excited about. Planning the look of the studio. Choosing cabinet style, paint colors, hardware, trim, fabrics, all the fun stuff. What style of cabinetry and features should you use? For Keisha, that choice was obvious.
I knew for a fact that she loved Shaker. Shaker is a very clean line. It's usually in a white. It's not going to be in a dark color. The space was not really big, but so we wanted to keep it bright and happy. So that's when we started bringing in the glass doors and just trying to make it as bright as possible.
Cabinet style is important, but don't overlook details like trim. Your cabinet designer can really be a big help when thinking through these decisions.
Some of the design elements that tie the room together that I enjoyed adding to Mary's studio are the crown molding on top of the cabinets.
Choosing the color palette is an important decision, and there are lots of things to think about. It's very personal. Your studio should feel like it fits into the rest of your home, but can also be a place that inspires your creativity.
When I pick colors for a client, I normally ask them what their favorite colors are and go from there. I try and make it a soothing color, but in an art studio or a studio, you can make it bright, you can make it yellow, you can make it purple, whatever color makes you feel comfortable and happy. It's a good idea to get somebody to help you like a designer, and everything is coordinated and well done.
When we deal with different people, maybe they want a darker tone, more of a country cabin look. So it's really just in talking to the client and go through the house. When you can see the style of the home as you're walking through, and try to suggest that you keep things in that particular trend that the house is already dictating.
When we were selecting our cabinetry, we had our flooring and our trim and everything picked out, and it was really dark. So I knew I wanted it to look clean. That was always a goal I had. I had the idea of having white cabinets because I thought that would be a clean space that would foster creativity. And it was recommended not to go with just white because it almost looks sterile. So we went with more of a off-white cream and then added a little bit of that rustic look to it, kind of weathered, worn, and that really helps it fit in with all the dark aspects of our basement.
Color choice can also have an impact on how the room functions.
So one of the design ideas that we looked at is that we have limited windows. And by having a neutral palette, you're able to bring in more light into the space. The white doesn't absorb the light, but reflects it, so everything looks brighter within the space.
Earlier, we talked about concealing or revealing your supplies. If you're planning to have some of your supplies on display, this also affects your color selection.
We use the products, all the crafting products, to accentuate the space. So by keeping the neutral palette, you could use the materials to pop and give your crafting room a great feel.
Your craft supplies provide some great color accents in the room, but there are other fun ways to display colors and patterns.
So some of the design elements that we look at, since we kept it neutral and we did use the craft supplies as accents, we started to look at fabrics. And this is a crafting room. It needs to look like a crafting space. So we looked at different fabrics for the chair, the colors of the rug to create contrast against the floors, because we want the floors to pop against the selection of the cabinetry and the countertops to create a dramatic space. We also looked at chairs. What color chairs are going to be used? We looked at transparent chairs. What the great thing about when you use a transparent chair, it doesn't add to the space. It's you're able to see through it, and it doesn't make the space as claustrophobic as if you had a solid chair. So we looked at ways to make the space appear bigger without affecting your function and the circulation within the space.
Don't overlook the significance of selecting your hardware. Drawer pulls and knobs should be considered for their function and their appearance.
When I was picking out the hardware pieces for the cabinetry, I knew I just wanted pulls because I find that my fingers get stuck in some of those fancier hardware pieces, and it's just more about function for me. They look nice, the hardware pieces look nice, but it's all about function, and these seem to function just the way I need them to, so.
The handles, it adds the jewelry like it does to your clothing or your outfit. It adds the jewelry to the design. It makes it look better, and handles especially make it a lot more functional to get in and out of your cabinets.
Material selection for cabinets and countertops is also important. And this is another topic where your cabinet specialist can be a big help.
We use materials that are easy to clean and can be repaired if it got scratched by a knife. You use Korean materials, it can easily be repaired. And we use some silestone product for the island. So it's just using materials that will make the space, add to the space, and it's easy to be cleaned and creates a great finish and style to the space.
So what did you think? Join in on the conversation on our social media channels, which are linked here on the screen. Check out the next episode to find out how to make your studio comfortable and efficient for endless hours of crafting. If you're new to the series, be sure to watch the previous episodes. And don't forget to subscribe to our blog so you can hear about new episodes to come. Thank you for watching Crafted Spaces, presented by StampnStorage. StampnStorage. Organize your craft, unleash your creativity.